Guys got a bunch of questions.
There's not too many. We'll try to keep it as quick as possible. Um, just kind of a few questions regarding why you got into the field and also kind of the issues that have been going on with senior isolation and things regarding that.
I have personally got into the field.
Yeah, so kind of how long have you been involved with Catholic Charities?
So, I've been, I've worked for Catholic Charities for a total of about 30 years. I left for a little while and then I came back. So, in my present position as a division administrator, I've been in this position for about 20 years. Um, our senior service, our community and senior services division, which comprises of all of our senior programs and our legal immigration program, um, is one of four program divisions of Catholic Charities. Um, and I have spent my entire professional career working in the field of aging. Um, I actually got involved while I was in college, doing some volunteer work in a nursing home, which was sort of the beginning of my interest in working with seniors. And I did a couple of different kinds of activities. I even had an opportunity to live in a senior housing project for a while I was going to college to work with the seniors there and just develop my interest in working with this particular population. So that was the start. I tell students that this is a field that you actually grow into, yeah, because all of us at some point are going to serve or have aging folks around us in our families, in our neighborhoods. Caregiving will be probably something that we will all be touched by, either because we know people who are caregiving for an elder, we are going to be caregivers, or we are going to need care at some point. So that's sort of my interest area and why for people to enter the field of aging. Now,
So,
what was your other part?
regarding senior isolation, what role do you think that students like could play in like helping out like decrease senior isolation here in Hawaii?
So all of Catholic Charity senior programs are targeted to help people live in the community for as long as possible. So I think, Caleb, I was telling you, we don't work with folks that are in institutional facilities. Our goal is to help people age in place in their homes for as long as it's safe and for as long as they wish to be there. So that sometimes means that people get isolated because they are no longer, they're living in a house that is difficult to get out of. They they have lost a lot of peers. They may be homebound due to physical issues, and so we started developing some projects around people who are socially and physically isolated. So we have our Phone a Friend program, which we actually started pre-pandemic, because we knew that we were looking for ways to provide opportunities for people who wanted to volunteer with seniors. And we felt like making phone calls to check on seniors who were socially isolated would be a good way to provide safety and socialization for the seniors. So we started there. Um, we have spent a lot of time and work around issue of dementia and how it impacts on seniors and caregivers. So we do a lot of work around dementia education and training for seniors and for caregivers. And so we started a program called Memory Mentors, which actually is targeted to people with dementia who live alone. Yeah. And it's meant for us to train volunteers to work with people who have dementia to do in-home visits, yeah, to help them with providing socialization, but also to help them with things like helping to read their mail, helping them if they needed reminders about different things, just to be eyes and ears sometimes on them because some of them maybe don't have family here, but so somebody just kind of needs to see what's going on with them on a periodic basis. So those are some of the kinds of things that we've been doing for folks that are socially isolated. We also operate a senior center called Lanakila Multipurpose Senior Center, where we encourage seniors that we know need social activities and who are able to get out to go to the center to be able to develop those kinds of social connections. We tell them to go there, because it's good to take an education exercise class, but really the goal is to create community, and help them connect to others on a social basis, so that they have something to look forward to, they have something to participate in, and they have something to contribute meaningfully to.
So how do you guys at Catholic Charities like educate the public about these issues?
About social isolation issues,
That and like the programs that you guys offer.
we do a lot of outreach through a lot of senior activities that happen around town. So whenever we have opportunities for there's a senior fair someplace, we'll try and go out and go and provide information and education. We of course have our website. We have things posted on Catholic Charities, Facebook, and I don't know what other social media we have. We we do a lot of presentations. Often we get organizations that ask us to do presentations to their groups, whether it's a group of seniors, whether it's a group of caregivers, or just people in general who want to know about resources for seniors. Yeah.
So, like, what are some ways that young people can like be effective and taking action in community through your guys' programs?
They can volunteer. Yeah. They can volunteer um, to in any of our volunteer programs. I forgot to tell you, we have a third program, that volunteer program that we started called Transportation Friends for Kupuna. So we have volunteers that either drive if they have access to a car, or they just provide escort. Yeah. So they might go along with our vans if a senior needs some extra help, like we take groups of seniors to the market, to do grocery shopping. And sometimes we have individuals who have difficulty reading labels on the cans of food or can't reach up on high shelves. And so needs more one-to-one assistance in the store, which our driver, because our staff is usually the one who drives the van to take them there, can't really do. Yeah. So we have volunteers that do that as well. So yeah. So there's a lot of volunteer opportunities that young folks can participate in as volunteers, either on the one-to-one, or our senior center has actually a lot of opportunities. We've had students from Waipahu High School doing activities for the seniors. We've had students from oh, many schools that have gone to the center to do technology classes for them. That's an area where there's a lot of intergenerational sharing, because you folks are much better at the technology stuff, and you'd be amazed. Somehow during the pandemic, the seniors have learned that they have got to figure out the technology piece. And so we have a lot of seniors now who are much more interested in using technological devices to communicate with others. So we actually have seniors who participate in some of our senior center activities virtually. Now, we just had a meeting with the seniors, let's see, at lunchtime, and we had about 60 something people. So that just tells you that they're learning to use the technology, and sometimes it's a matter of making sure that they know how to use it safely. Yeah. So the students and the teens have gone in to sometimes it's just more of a tech. It's not necessarily a formal class, but they'll sit down with somebody and help them figure out how to do something on their specific device, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, or whatever.
So I know you mentioned like students from Waipahu High School have like volunteered with you guys, but are there any other like outside organizations that you guys work with, either like through schools or in the community?
Um, I couldn't tell you all the schools that have done. If you're looking at high schools, we're talking about Waipahu because Waipahu has a connection with the community health worker program. We've had students from Damien. We've had students from Punahou. We've had students from Marino. Oh, and sometimes we just get individual teams that go during their school breaks or other times to different activities there.
So, how did you become involved with working with seniors in Catholic Charities Hawaii? Like, did something inspire you, or did it just like come natural?
I don't think there's such a thing as coming naturally, but no, as I said, I did some volunteer work and I did some actual work in programs involving seniors when I was in college, and that's really what got me started. Yeah. So I think that, we actually get a lot of we actually get a lot of college students that come to our programs to volunteer as well. For instance, a lot of times nursing schools will bring their nursing students to our programs because a lot of times when you go into any kind of medical field, often what you see are sick people, right? You do placements in hospitals or nursing homes where people are pretty frail and sick. So they like to bring the students sometimes to our senior center or the sites at our senior housing projects where we have staff to show them that there are a lot of seniors out there who are staying well despite their age, and that showing them that seniors at any age can learn new things. During the pandemic, we had people in their 90s learning how to get on a Zoom class, because that was the only way they were going to be able to maintain contact with others.
So how do you feel that this problem and like the whole like general idea of social isolation is going to change like in the upcoming years, especially since the changes we've seen during the pandemic?
Uh, so, there's a difference between isolation and loneliness, right? Isolation just means that you just don't necessarily have as much physical contact, but we have people who are isolated who are not lonely because they have learned how to maintain contacts in other kinds of ways. So the virtual kinds of, the technology has given them opportunities to contact with people even if they're not physically in contact with people. Yeah. So I think technology is going to make a significant difference as our senior population, as other generations enter their older years. Yeah, because they'll be much more technologically savvy and able to maintain those kind of contacts, even if they're not able to get out. And I think the days of self-driving cars are not too far away. That'll make a difference because accessibility is a big issue for a lot of our seniors. Yeah, they just can't get out to meet with folks because they don't have transportation, right? So, those kinds of things are going to make a difference. Yeah.
So, how are you optimistic about the future of social isolation? Like, do you think it'll continue to decrease in the next upcoming years? And like, also, how are you pessimistic about it as well?
Oh, am I what?
How are you optimistic about social isolation in the upcoming years? Like, do you think it'll continue to go down?
I don't know that social isolation will ever go away. Will it get better? We have a lot of different things happening. So the technology piece is a good thing. However, what we also see is that we see a lot more living alone, yeah, and don't have as much social contact. Either we have a lot more seniors who never married or are divorced, and we have a lot more seniors whose family or younger family members have moved out of state. Yeah. So those are other trends that are affecting why people are isolated. Yeah. Um, so hard to say. I mean, I can't say that those trends are going to change. I think they're going to probably, those trends are probably going to get worse over time. That there are more people who remain single and are aging, and are, you know, of course, our divorce rates aren't getting any better, so that has an impact. And we're still seeing an exodus of young people due to economic factors. Yeah, and so that is going to affect the social networks of seniors in Hawaii. Um, so you know, it's a balance of things. You know, I can't predict what the future will look like.
I think that's kind of about everything we had questions wise for you.
Mhm.
Thank you again so much for your time and coming on today to kind of just share your view and the work that you and Catholic Charities have done over the years.
Great. Well, good luck with your paper.
Thank
Thank
Are
you.
you.
you guys doing a presentation with this?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
Have other questions? Feel free to give me a call.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.